the stage, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. IONUţ, OPREA.
Thank you for the kind introduction. Good morning from my side as well, and I invite my distinctive speakers here on the stage. So please, one more round of applause for ANDRA TăNASE, Head of Strategy at Transylvania IT Cluster, Mr. VLAD MANOIL, Senior Digital Development Specialist at the World Bank, Romania, and Mr. VITALIE TânTARU, CEO and founder, ACTech, leading innovator in the tech industry. I hope your microphones work as well. We will test them right away. I joined the first events of the Chambers 10 years ago, and I wasn't still replaced by AI, but since this morning talk I am worried that we can place the bets for the next 10 years. Meanwhile, we are honored to have you here today. We have speakers with experience that could talk and present the whole day. We will discover that later. We want to do this an interactive panel, and I thank our speakers for being open to share their ideas and expertise. So please consider the stage open for questions at any moment. I have your presentations and introductions, but maybe it's more natural if you could each present yourselves in a few words, personal, and maybe you can tell us if you remember what and when sparkled your passion, your interest for IT&C, for digitalization, for AI, and for technology. So let's start maybe with brief introductions from all of you. You can start with the ladies.
Hello. Hello everyone, my name is VITALIE TânTARU. I'm originally from Republic of Moldova, from Chișinău. So just, now, with quite, I would say, even I don't remember how many years of the spending in banking, digital banking, creation of digital banking, moving to the wider spread of technologies, AI, here in Romania, in Moldova, in Middle East, in Central Asia, so operating quite widely, and passionate about the AI and technologies for sure.
Hello, my name is ANDRA, and to answer your question, probably my passion, even for AI and technology, started when working in the peace building field and in civil society. And the answer to why and how can peace building connect to technology and AI will come at the very end of my intervention. But basically, yes, I have a background in economics, international studies. I resonated very much with what Giuseppe said earlier. Traveling is one of the most insightful and rich ways in which we can innovate. And following my studies in peace in UN University for Peace and working for 15 years in the field of peace building, I started working with Transylvania IT Cluster, a cluster of technology in Cluj-Napoca, and find amazing how so many of the tools that actually apply to this concept of ecosystem are the same.
Okay, thank you.
Hello, thank you for having me. It's an honor. So my passion for technologies drives back to where I first touched the computer, I think back in 1997. It's quite a bit of time since then. So at the World Bank, I have the opportunity to use technology to drive development and to embody the vision of the World Bank to have a world free of poverty on a livable planet. And AI is definitely one of those tools that can help bridge that gap and bring closer that vision, but we are also aware of the fact that it can deepen the divide that we have in the world now between the poor countries and the rich countries, and the urban and rural, uneducated and educated population. So one of the aspects that we keep an eye on is ensuring equity of technology, and that it serves a good for all. Before World Bank, I worked with a team of enthusiasts in the government of Moldova, where we built basically the digital government there, and I hear it's quite praised here in Romania. So I hope that we'll be able to transfer some of that experience and know-how with our Romanian counterparts as well.
Okay, thank you. So I guess we will talk also about Moldova a lot, since anyway it's kind of known in the markets that Moldova is a bit more advanced in digitalization, mainly in the public sector, if I understand that well. We were supposed to have with us the Vice President of the Authority for Digitalization in Romania. Unfortunately, he cannot be here right now. A lot of things are happening with a lot of meetings. It's another good theme project to have a AI assistant to represent also the digital authority in the government. So if you can help with your expertise and your companies, that would be great. When you already heard that I talk or report about real estate a lot, and when the chamber invited me to talk about technology and AI, I had to do a bit of research. And if the real estate people think they spend all the money, it's not exactly like this. So I have a few figures to put in your minds, and maybe we debate later. 6 billion euros for digitalization programs through the National Plan for Resilience are to be spent in Romania in the next years. More than €500 million is for the government cloud project. I hope I'm getting this right. 32,700 public units. These are institutions, public institutions that will need equipment, software, processes, a lot of new maybe processes, and they need I guess your services and your products and support from the private sector, so that's a lot. Also, the national agency is creating or trying to refresh the project for the electronic identity of each person in Romania, so that's a program that needs subscribers, or you can register, and it should help you with a digital ID to solve all your problems with all the public institutions, I guess, in the next 10 years, hopefully, in Romania. And my favorite part is that we still need energy contribution and expertise to define the digitalization in Romania and have a national strategy. So I got this in my mind from the previous presentation, that when you think you don't have time to innovate, that's the time to innovate. So I guess it's great that at least we have these events and these debates, and we can all contribute maybe to what needs to be stepped up in Romania. Of course, we will take your feedback and any ideas you might have to the National Authority for Digitalization. Feel free to contact me or the organizers at the end. And if you have any, I don't know, project or idea, or you want to get into that consultative committee that they announced, of course we can collaborate. Now I go back to my speakers, which are here, and I thank them for that. Who wants to start? Andra, I know you have a presentation. Maybe you want to open up and we go from there.
Sure, I can do that. I have a presentation, and perhaps partially also addressing your questions. I'll try to go quick through the presentation, but before all of that, I have an invitation actually for you, because we are talking about AI, and imagine you have all the resources that you have at hand. What would be the device, invention, that you would create and bring here? Imagine you have all the resources possible.
Time machine.
A time machine. We have, okay, we have a time machine. So we have this time machine here with us in the room. Imagine it's already here. What do you think would be the first thing that we can do, and what do you think would be the challenges that we would have with this time machine?
Start the conference on time.
Okay, so we can start the conferences on time. because we have a time machine, so we can get here. Definitely the power of our imaginations and dreams can bring us closer to having dreams happening, having innovation happening. But probably I would challenge you, even if we had this time machine, we would have to deal with the culture of punctuality or not. We would have to see whether it's legal or not to have people being tracked with their data and so on. So what I want to say and share with you is that technology is amazing. It is a vehicle that we have. It is a tool that we have more and more at hand. Yet, in order for us to fully use it, we need also structural change, we need cultural change, and again, Giuseppe was giving the ball at the playing field, saying, you know, how important is the cultural mindset. I could just say that ecosystemic thinking is one of the most powerful ways in which we can enable this change, including artificial intelligence, including the use of big data, including the use of high-performance computing. But in order to tell you more, I will show you a little bit, a few pictures and a few information about us, who we are, and what we do. So, Transylvania IT is a technology cluster located in the northwest of Romania, and we have more than 185 member companies of all sizes, most of which are small and medium enterprises. Combined, they have more than 7,000 employees, and they do make some money. You know, technology and IT is profitable. Yet, not only they make revenues, but they also contribute to innovation in a number of domains and using a number of technologies. We have here a mapping of the technologies that our members are using. So they include all the range from IoT, AI, big data, and digital infrastructures used in across industries. The pictures just show a few of the examples that are brought, such as RF meters, retrofitting buildings for energy consumption, chatbots, industrial measurements of emissions for green and digital solutions, and also ILO, which is an immaterial utility. So they go in all spheres of the society and of the economy. And as a cluster, what we try to do is to enable the companies to connect better to the society, to the government, to each other, nationally and also internationally. So as a cluster, we support innovation, and this means organizing activities, matchmaking sessions, taking part in events such as this, for which we thank you. But also what is very important for the member companies is the provision of support to accessing funding and opportunities, and this both at national and international level. In order to do that, we must say that we work also with cascade funding, with European funds, but also try to make good use, or have the companies make good use of that amount of money that you mentioned earlier in the national funds. To make good use of that money, we need also dialogue between private and public sector, and this is also an important element that we are doing. And talking about strategies and talking about European digital innovation hubs, we are trying to walk the talk and to put the data from our region, from our companies, into the public policies. So one of the efforts that we hope soon will be fruitful, and we thank the Romanian Authority for Digitalization, even if they're not here for supporting in this, is a national strategy for digital innovation hubs. You have here different types of pictures from all these type of services that we provide, but I would like to point out, talking about AI, one project that we have now in Cluj, creating a digital twin for a residential building, a digital twin that would enable us to find out more, to learn more, to predict elements regarding net zero emissions of the building, and not only energy, but also the materials that the building is done, and also the behavior and the opinions of the people. IQ Digital was a great event in which we partner, and there it was the mindset was changed because it was in the opera. So we combined a very classic setting with talk about ethics in AI and other technological aspects. Our flagship project and program is the European Digital Innovation Hub, and this we hope will play a major role also in the future. This one-stop shop, this one place where technology providers and technology adopters can meet and embark on different journeys. Different types of projects that are using technology in the most perhaps unexpected areas. This is a project on gender smart innovation. So we want to see how technology can play a role and will play a role and is playing a role in gender sensitive business modeling. And I'm telling you, it's not a coincidence that in many technology events, this gender balance is like this. In this project, what is interesting, and it's an approach that we have, is being a living lab. So actually applied and working with universities. I told you already about the digital twin as a project and a technology that we want to use. And I will not play the movie, but basically this is one of our newest projects on data spaces, and I would like to bring also this in the attention of a setting like this, because the talk about data spaces, the talk about not only data pools where we gather the data, but how we can make data interconnected, the channeling, the connectivity between the different entities, sectors, is one of the crucial conversations that we want to engage in. And I would like to stop here the intervention, saying that we at Transylvania IT are looking forward to both dreaming and working together with you. And in order to do that, we have 3 levels of change that need to happen: direct, structural, and cultural. In the fields of technology, we think that direct change is already here. We have the robots, we have the chatbots, we have AI as a tool. It's here. But in the spheres of structural change, how we create within a school that has all the smart classes, the curriculum to educate future generations, still needs to happen. And even more so, the cultural change is fundamental. And although it's not necessarily talking about ChatGPT or robots or smart mirrors, this cultural change is crucial. an ecosystem, and a digital competence is thinking and collaborating. I think it has very little to do necessarily with technology, but it has a lot to do with a digital mindset, a transformative mindset, and an innovative mindset.
Just one quick follow-up question. The members are established companies, international companies, or are startups, Romanian startups?
So our members are both. Most of them are small and medium enterprises. That doesn't necessarily mean startups, because that's a different subset. But the larger members are both established Romanian companies, and Arobs is an example that is Romanian and will stay Romanian. But indeed, if we look at not only at our members, but in general, talking about Cluj, about 80%, even though as legal entities, companies are established here, 80% are working and outsourcing their work. So this is actually one of the realities. I avoided challenges or issues, but it's one of the realities, and I think we need to consider this very seriously if we are seriously considering ourselves to be put on that map again. Giuseppe, thank you for showing us many maps. In my mind, it was like, okay, but where is Romania? Are we in the US? Are we in the Middle East? Are we in Europe? I think we are in the point where we need to define our position. And yes, this is the reality that we have absolutely the capacities, we have the positioning, but we need to see how to channel our resources and our innovation.
Okay, thank you. We will go a bit back to this theme of the small and medium enterprises, because it's a very significant component and a challenge for this digitalization in this economy. If I go back to my numbers, I think more than 130 million euros are there in some programs that small and medium enterprises can apply for, can still apply for, to get funds from digitalization. But maybe, Vlad, you can tell us more about supportive programs for the business environment, and how do you see this, because our title was Unlocking the Collaboration between the public and the private sector. Maybe you can tell us a bit about your work in Romania in this objective to unlock and to collaborate with the authorities and involving more the private sector.
Thank you, IONUţ. So I will start from the big picture and then zoom into Romania, what we're doing to Romania, because I think Romania is not a representative case for the World Bank, and what we're doing here is a bit different than what we're doing mostly everywhere else. So with this vision of a world free of poverty on a livable planet, we have started embarking on a global challenge program which we call Accelerating Digital. So the World Bank understood that digital is one of the ways with which we can reduce poverty, and we can reduce the impact of the climate change and hopefully compensate it. So starting this July, we will have a digital vice presidency, which means that we're taking digital serious now. And we will have a global challenge program that works across several layers, I would say. So the first one is really the basic layer of connectivity, the basic layer of data hosting and cloud computing, and the skills and digital jobs. So that's the very basic that we're having intervention. But then not all countries are equal, and some countries have these elements taken care of, or in various ways, various stages of development. Then the next layer is the layer of enablers or accelerators, and data exchange and interoperability is one of those things. And we heard from Giuseppe and from previous speakers how important is to have machine learning and data analytics, but you can only have that where you have the ability to know what data you have and how to use it and how to exchange it. So that's a very important layer. And then another layer is digital identity. So if in private sector, for products in private sector is easier, because then you can just let people subscribe, you know, and they will do so to the best of their ability. Government services are a bit more tricky in this except because governments need to know exactly who they're talking to in order to provide meaningful services. So digital ID is one of those layers that again is important, is paramount for digital development. And then digital payments are a third layer, and this is a two-edged sword. Payments to the government in terms of taxes, revenue collection, but also payments to the people in terms of social protection programs, targeted social assistance, and other programs like that. And the third layer is the high level of high-impact services. We're talking about social services, we're talking about education, healthcare. So the way we see it is that this layer and this all accelerators cannot be sustainable without private sector. So private sector role here is paramount because on the one hand they are primary users of some of these layers, but also they are the technology providers and the skill providers, and they can build capacity and they can drive the innovation where governments typically fail. So I guess it works beautifully when the governments have the vision to what they want to build to. They have the experience, you know, of other countries that they look up to, and then they let private sector step in and help with that. Of course, we need, for this to happen, we need to transcend the paradigm of outsourcing, you know, because what we've done for various very large period of time was to outsource services to the private sector, which worked okay, but is not the best way, because that limits the ability of the private sector to really provide innovation, to provide value where it has it the best, and being constrained in some tight limits. So I think this is how we can work on that. And actually, the World Bank has a scorecard that has an indicator of private capital engagement and mobilization. So we aim that in all World Bank projects, at least 45% of the funds are directed to private capital enablement or capital mobilization. So enablement would mean that the governments pass laws that enable private capital to flow in, or they reduce barriers to entry of private capital. And capital mobilization is really when governments partner with private sector so that they co-finance, for example, broadband deployment, right? Or they, as in the case with Romania, where private sector could be part of the government cloud platform and bring in innovation through a government cloud marketplace. And coming back to Romania now, what we're helping Romania with is to take the first steps in the cloud journey, government cloud journey, and we're trying to support them into bringing the value of government cloud early on to the people by migrating the services to the government cloud. And then but be mindful, and you asked if 6 billion is much or little. I think it's never enough if you ask about technology, but having 2.5 years to spend it, I think it's a bit tight, and I think it rushes a lot of things, and it leaves very little time for thinking and for innovating when it's needed the most. So I think we need to learn to do this better, and we need to learn to do things iteratively. So there is life after an RRP, and there is life and next steps in cloud journey. So I think we need to understand and to learn from this experience, and to be able to further enhance services for people and businesses using the power of cloud computing and AI as we advance on this cloud journey. So I hope I at least very little touched on your question.
Yes, thank you, and for sure we will come back to you. Vitalie, I had the feeling that you want to add something on these perspectives before I ask.
Yes, for sure. Just, I read recently very interesting research done by European Investment Bank together with the European Commission. And a question, for the auditorium. Do you know, or imagine how many Romanian small and medium enterprises are using AI currently? Or, let's say, the beginning of the fall last year, the time this report was done. Does anybody, have an answer? At least guess.
I know it's the last.
The percentage, perhaps, yeah?
So how many small and
so what is the percentage of the small medium Romanians small and medium enterprises using AI?
0.0.
A bit more. It's 1%.
1%?
It's 1%. Yeah, it was like a beginning of September last year. What is the average for European Union? What do you do? Do you also just guess? 8%. Yeah, the best are Denmark, Norway, France, about 24%. They are the best. But the average per European Union is 8%. So what Vlad said and Andra started with, first of all, so we are still in a stage of construction of the basic data infrastructure, because using digitalization, digitalize the processes, we need the infrastructure. We need the infrastructure, we need to change the mindset, overall we need to increase the knowledge of the technologies, So that's why this stage here. This does not mean that you cannot accelerate. We need to accelerate. Many things can be done now and can be done in parallel, building the robust infrastructure from the state and propagate, in fact, the digital technologies, digitalization, digital infrastructure, and even AI directly, for the biggest enterprise like a big tech or large enterprise in Romania. Banks, telecoms, they still have enough resources, financial and human, in order to do them by themselves. But all of them need the data infrastructure and the services from the state, and definitely they need, to be, aware of the technologies, and because the AI and new technologies are here and are right now, they can gain, despite of all this hype of the ChatGPT, all this stuff, despite of this, they can gain a real, economical effect right now.
Since we reached this topic, or the point when we understand and have this need to action more and accelerate things, maybe we can talk a bit about how things happened in Moldova and what was the experience there with the governmental agency, and what processes helped to accelerate the Moldova digitalization process in Moldova, and if you could comment a bit about the status there.
Yes, a bit. From the government point of view, I think Vlad even can talk better than me. He was like one of the builders of it. I'm just reflecting the point of view from the business, And you see, the point is, the digitalization is on my, I understand, because I many years worked abroad. When I came back a couple of years ago, I found that the digital services are quite good, really. Quite good, but on my, from the business point of view, are a bit obsolete and need, to refine them. So that's in the process. Now in the process, in fact, the building new digital services. In fact, there is a goal of digitalize all the government services for 100% at the end of next year, which is quite ambitious. Because at the same time, it does not. So if you would have the fully, because the infrastructure was started to build government more than 10 years ago, I guess. Because in 10 years the technology was changed dramatically. So now, in the process of the re-engineering the government architecture. So full services, technical one, processes one, even mindset one. is a lot of programs started in order, first of all, to propagate, the knowledge of the digital services, which is good. And now there is a very ambitious, yes, so on. It's going quite well, in my understanding. Yeah. And thanks to first of all, the old bank. That's I know it's more 12 years ago. Yeah, started with a quite huge investments into the creation of the government agency. Yeah. And now, in fact, I think within a couple of years, so we took some quite ambitious goals in order to achieve, the European Union level. At the end of the day, as Moldova already became the country candidate to the European Union. Yeah, and on top of that, we started to push a bit the AI strategy, which is just recently was adopted, the white paper for AI. And I hope at the end of this year we'll have the fully adopted AI strategy, which is will complement the digital transformation strategy already adopted last year. And approved by the government and parliament, which is quite in line with the European standards, yes, or the standards of the European Union. Even now, a couple of days ago, we discussed the AI and Big Data conference in Chisinau about the European Union AI Act, yes, and we have a couple of speakers, yes, participating into the EU AI Act, elaboration and adoption, which is, on my understanding, is quite good. And we definitely have a lot of collaboration with Romanian, colleagues here in AI Romania, ANIS, many other associations, and try to strengthen this collaboration.
Okay, so then I guess, Vlad, we come back to you. At some point you mentioned that each country has or should have a vision. What if the vision of country is not so clear? Could we adopt some strategic directions from what the countries are doing in the region or in Europe? You guys, with your programs and your expertise, are working with the government of that country who has not such a clear vision to define it. And what would you say would be, I don't know, top 3 or 5 main pillars to develop or to progress with the Romanian national strategy or vision for digitalization?
For Romania is easier because being part of the EU, you are driven by the Digital Compass 2030 and Digital Decade goals, which looks into skills and digitalizing population, digitalizing businesses, bring AI and high tech to more SMEs. So I think the vision for Romania is there. It's just not maybe in the simplest form to understand. So it's scattered in many directions, but it's there. I think we need to go past the stage of visioning and go into full implementation mode, because as you learn by doing, you learn a lot by doing. So Romania is already in a spot that they can quickly leapfrog many other countries by using new technologies, by using the government cloud, by using the interoperability platform that is about to be built. So I think a lot of the building blocks are there and just waiting to be properly used. So Romania has a good payment infrastructure. Romania has good digital identities, and hopefully with the new identity card, then everyone will basically have a digital key to unlock the services for the government in their pocket. So hopefully we will help shape that vision by advancing in digital transformation, rather than stopping and okay, let's do a vision and then again let's move and realize, okay, maybe we shouldn't have done it otherwise, and starting it again. So learning is doing.
I don't know if it's totally the right question for you, but it just crossed my mind that is it like a competition? Could it be seen like competition, for instance, in real estate or investments? We always look at as a region, maybe the CEE, and we compare ourselves with Poland, with Hungary, with all the countries around us. In case of digitalization, is it the same or they should work together? Can you apply certain strategies or models from other countries to Romania or from Romania to other countries? Will it be the region more stronger in a European level in order to attract capital investments and innovation in this private sector in companies for digitalization?
I think Romania is already doing that, and we have a living testament here with the innovation hubs. And to me, it was a bit staggering that Romania has the largest IT workforce in the EU. So we're off to a very good start, and it's a matter of channeling this. And you know, asking about competition versus collaboration, I think it's no good answer. You collaborate and you compete, and that's how you advance, you know, because if there's no competition, there's no advancement. And regionally, probably Romania, together with countries like Poland and maybe Bulgaria, will manage to have a bigger growth rate that will bring in further innovation and technology companies that will help with this advance.
Vitalie, you want to say something more? Then we
Just
continue.
on top of it, I mean, also for that answer, one additional innovation hub on top of it, just I know that now is, I mean, going to be built an AI hub, yes, led by Polytechnica Bucharest, yes, so only for the first stage, it was like a 56 billion euros, which is a quite a good amount, I mean, for the start, yes, as you said, I mean, coming back to the figures, yes, so 6 billion is like enough money or small money, yes, or that depending, I mean, currently, so my personal perception is like due to the timing, yeah, it's quite a lot of money, and still there is no yet, yeah, so the power of execution, yeah, to absorb and to valorificate this money, yeah, not to spend them just, I mean, to drink coffee or cognac, I don't know, or the Romanian wine, but in order to build, I mean, really, and to achieve the goals, yeah. So, I mean, here, I mean, there is a way to enforce and reinforce the collaboration between the state and the private sector. Yeah, there are many ways in order to do it more efficiently. Yeah, that's a point now. But on the long term, yeah, definitely the investments into the technologies, yeah, assume that those money will be spent in the right way, yeah, to build the infrastructure, because the AI, truly speaking, AI like a non-verified data, yeah, not clean data, yeah, it will become a big problem, yeah. Yeah, so that's why the infrastructure is so important. But assume the infrastructure and the mechanism, yeah, of the stimulation of the digitalization, which is a base for it, yeah. Yeah, so will be started and will take, I mean, to start to fly, yeah. So that's, I mean, the many in fact, the private companies will start to invest into their modernization, because another figure, yeah, in the European Union, about 34% of the small medium enterprises are spending money on research and development and innovation. In Romania, it's about between 3 and 4%, which we have a huge potential for growth.
Andra, please, you want to answer.
I wanted to add something for your first question regarding the vision. I'm a big fan of strategies, and I still think a strategy is composed by knowing where you are, where you want to go, and the steps to go there. And what I wanted to say is that for that vision is important to be built at individual level, citizen level. We talk about digital competencies and you know, mom using technology and grandma using technology in a right way. I have a 93-year-old grandma who's very active on Facebook, and I spend a lot of time trying to guide her into not getting in trouble on Facebook. So, individual level strategy, then organizational level strategy, whether we're talking about an SME or a big company or a public institution, it is extremely important for them to define their vision and where they are. We are doing digital maturity assessment, an instrument still imperfect, but still we're doing it. And And one of the things that we learned there is that the literacy regarding what is digitalization, you know, we're asking, are you using AI technologies? Oh, ChatGPT, yeah, we have. So awareness and a strategy where we are, where we want to go there, institutional level, sector level, and then national level. So yeah, the vision for the country, but the country doesn't exist without all these other entities. We are part of the country as individuals and so on. So having these elements at all the levels and then connecting them. I think this is something on our to-do list, and this is what we're trying to do also through digital innovation hubs. And very quickly, the last point regarding where we are placed. We talk about a global economy. We like to think that we are in the universe, in the galaxy, in the ecosystem, and so on and so forth. How about placing ourselves and valuing ourselves as that and not always in the geopolitical borders? We traveled with my 5-year-old daughter abroad, and I realized by her questioning, we were in Barcelona, and she's like, oh, which country are we? Romania. I know, I'm like in Barcelona. And I realized that for her, the concept of border was different from my concept of border. So how about applying it also in our technology, in our development, in our perspectives, and aiming to be those lighthouses and not always the followers, not always trying to catch up with somebody, Western and so on. We see it in projects. We are taken often in European projects because we are the Eastern European partner that they need, and they say, okay, a follower. But not necessarily. Yes, there are sectors where we are very low, but there are also sectors, and we have champions that deserve to be lighthouses, and I think all of us were arguing for this.
Okay, thank you. I did promise we will take questions, and we talked almost through our panel without doing that. So please raise a hand if you have any question or proposal for our speakers.
What's the difference between Denmark and Romania to catch this percentage, this 7%? What we need to do now?
Just we need to work, yeah. Yeah, and I presume our colleagues from there, presume that already taken the directions and went to work and to implement those strategies, yeah, so, no, there are many, we have a good plan, really, many plans starting, from the, citizen, the data infrastructure, making the services for citizen, yeah, involve as much as possible the small, medium enterprises and all the business, yeah, involve the direction. And first of all, it's very important also to make the education program work, yeah. It's because we ourselves, we elaborated by the way elaborated the first Romanian book in Romania, yeah, the book for full-scale book for the machine learning, yeah, you're trying to propagate it into the universities and the schools. But that's another point, but on the education program is a key, yeah. We need to start to educate, yeah, so with a new reality, with a new technologies, a new approach, and to take in account, as Andra said, the count, on the local, our local particularities, yes, on specificities, yeah, we can do even better in many other countries, yeah, by ourselves, yeah. There is no issue on that, yeah. Starting from the school, universities, on the workplaces, yeah, so that's very important, the education and cultural mindset, I would say tectonic, yeah, so the change of the mindset and approach, yeah. That's, we have very short time for that, yeah, so it's 2 to 3 years, on my understanding, yeah. And definitely to stimulate, which is a PNRR, yeah, so also which is a good program, but on my understanding here, we have quite a lot of the room for improvement, that we are going to make a lot of projects here to release a lot of funding, yeah, to evaluate the power of execution for every executor or participating to the, but still we don't have a clear, on my understanding, clear, very good monitoring of it, yeah, which here we even don't need AI. We need really pure business intelligence, yeah, so like some good reportings and tracking on it, yeah, and stimulate the champions, which is stimulate and propagate the champions. I mean, the receipt is quite like I say, simple, yeah. We just need to work, yeah, day by day, yeah. So in many aspects, yeah, and definitely, as Vlad said, I mean that the government has its own program, but on my understanding, every government worldwide, yeah, so they have a lot of money, yeah, a lot of power, and they don't have the ability to execute like the private companies are doing. So the collaboration will be beneficial from both sides.
If I can just very quickly, so I would go back to what Andrei said about culture. I think we need to have a mindset of a Danish, right? And use digital as a primary channel, not as an alternative channel, whether we're a citizen or a business. So it's still, I don't know, bewilders me when I enter the metro and I see a lot of people, you know, putting cash in those machines to get the ticket when you can just tap and go, you know, and use the metro. Or in the businesses where they want you to come and you know, have a face-to-face interaction rather than digitizing the processes. The same goes even more so for the government. I mean, for government, digital is still optional, which it shouldn't. So I think this is also something to be addressed in parallel with the infrastructure and other elements.
As an example, yeah, so just recently one of a friend of mine, I mean, two friends of mine, so they had two different experiences, yeah. In both of them, they left the cars, one in Bucharest, another one in Chișinău, yeah. Parked the cars, yeah, non-regulatory, yes, was taken, evacuated, yeah. One of them spent 2.5 hours, another one spent 5 hours. What I would do in this case, just, I mean, like to teach, I mean, I would put the people from the police, yeah, the people that are executors instead of those guys, in order to see what the process will sort of take on them, in order to improve them, yeah. The point is digitalization is about the processes, the people, and the experience, yeah. As soon that every one of us, because as Alan said, I mean, when he was young, and also when I was young, we did not have even the phones, I mean, the fixed phones in all the villages, yes, or the cities, yeah. Now we have the AI, I mean, carrying AI with us, every one of us. I guess 100% has a smartphone. So I congratulate you, you are carrying out AI, I mean, engine there, yeah. The point is very important the customer experience, citizen experience, and business experience, and this is a day by day, yeah. So if you can improve it, yeah, I mean, like imagine, yeah, so we are in the center of this process, yeah. So that we have to do a lot of work by ourselves day by day. That's the point. But we have a lot of instruments already in place, and we have a very good start, yeah. We just need to refine it and to try to improve it day by day. That's it. Thank you.
Okay, officially we are way out of time, but I will risk final, again, personal question, so we end in the same note. What's the technology or the digital component that fascinates you the most for the future? What's your favorite, if you can envision the future? AI, virtual reality, travel in time, space investment. What's your favorite?
I'll try to answer the first. It's in fact the hybrid AI, yeah, means the combination between the human abilities and AI abilities. That, I mean, that's the future. It sounds on the other side, it sounds quite Romanian high.
I can't stop but thinking human interaction somewhere in a cafe on the Mediterranean Sea, but enabled because of my work was assisted in efficiency by all the technology. So I think technology is a tool, and digital well-being is one of the most advanced concepts futureness that I'm dreaming about. And for those who are interested in a little bit of history, actually I was wrong a little bit with my passion for technology, because my mom worked on FEA. It was a factory for element automatization. Now it's a mall near here. This was one of the historical places for technology in Bucharest, and the part of the dream in the future is for healthy transformation of our societies. It went from punching cards and computer as big in a room in the 80s, now to a mall, and I'm hoping that in the future it will grow into a healthy technology hub. We'll see how to get there.
For me, I'm fascinated by the possibility of mixed reality, and especially for education sector, because we've been discussing, and myself, I have an education background, so we've been discussing that it's a huge challenge for teachers these days with education process due to ChatGPT, because everyone uses ChatGPT, does not even check what that thing produces. So education is turning into a mess, augmented by ChatGPT and generative AI. At the same time, I was amazed at my kids have one of those Meta glasses, and I was amazed at some history lesson that they had in there. I mean, it was so immersive and so easy to understand. And next thing I knew, I was on an ISS space station, and I could understand how gravity works and a lot of other things there. So I think there's huge potential in technology to reinvent education and make it more practical and bring it closer to the people again and make it meaningful.
Okay, and on that inspirational note, I think it's time to especially thank our speaker with a round of applause, and we will go further. Hopefully we will see each other live and not in a virtual metaverse next time, but today, take advantage, our speakers are here with their expertise to get in contact with them and discuss projects, ideas together. Thank you very much, and have a great day further on.
Thank you very much for all the things that you told us. And now we're moving with our next keynote speaker, that is a distinguished principal AI engineer and thought leader in the forefront of enterprise transformation, pioneering the investigation of high-performance computing, distributed AI, and cutting-edge data technologies, Mr. FLORIN MANAIL. Stage is yours. Yes, the pointer is there.
Bună ziua. Hello everyone. I will try to, I know that I'm just between you and the coffee, so I'll try to be very brief and focus on what we need to deliver. And I was actually preparing this presentation. I was thinking, what is the best example I can bring in terms of innovation? The best example it's out there for transformation. So I think one of the things that would be good to show, if this is working, yes, is actually the IBM company, right? We are a 125-year company we call Old Startup. And if you see here, we started, back in 911, and we had a couple of transformations in our journey, from mainframes, PCs, services, software, and hybrid cloud, AI, and quantum computing right now, right? And the question is, what is actually triggering us to go over and over and over, reinvent ourselves, transform ourselves? And you can think as well on the governance, right? They have the same agenda. They are there for multiple years. And it's actually the passion for innovation and technology. This is what is actually driving us moving ahead. So from this perspective, We have brought into the market our, let's say, atlas of technology on those 5 pillars: security, quantum, hybrid, data, automation, and AI by 2030. And today I want to present you briefly our roadmap for AI. So we start with AI, back with when we created the Deep Blue, where we had the big chest with Gary Kasparov, but with more closely in 28, we started with Watson, and then we had different kind of innovations like Jeopardy, for example, the collaboration with Mayo Clinic in US, and so on and so forth. And we are back in 2024 now, where we are bringing to the market the AI governance and trust in the AI, which is very, very important, especially on adoption at a high rate. And then we have, moving ahead in 2025, we see more AI become more cost efficient. Right now, an accelerator that will run AI, it needs 1.2 kilowatts hour. Just that power, imagine that power, you need to have multiple of them. Not only to power, but to cool them, right? It's not really something that can scale at the scale we want as a society. And then in 2027, we see those foundation models. I want to speak about production scale unique. That will be an inflection point. In 2029, we see the trusted AI explainability starts to reason, which is the most important for our society, not only to have tools just to automate tasks, but as well to reason. And then in 2030, we see fully modality that we're going to take off at scale. So I think the predecessors, they have shown as well the market opportunity, right? So there is a huge market which is expected. This is coming from Bloomberg Intelligence, and is split in the AI assistants, chatbots, digital advertisers, and large language models platforms. And it's quite impressive to see this by 2032 at a 42% acceleration. When we speak with our CEOs, we are interacting, all of them, they say, well, AI is a competitive advantage. But on the same time, there is a mix of things like, yeah, we like these things, but we are scared for some reasons. And we are trying to understand, why that happened. And we have a Institute Business of Value with an IBM that look on multiple things, from the governance, from the data complexity, high price, limited skills and experience in companies, lack of AI models development tools, and so on and so forth. And you ask yourself, what do you need as a company to consider all these things? So if you want to answer to this question, you need to understand that foundation models, those large language models, we actually use them today, like ChatGPT. They just go there in the natural language and code, but there are things beyond that. We see molecular data. We have a MOL format that one of the university in Romania, Bucharest University, has worked on that with us. Then we have IT data, sensor data, business process data, cybersecurity, geospatial data. We have the collaboration with NASA in that space. All those modalities will come up more and more powerful. So think beyond the text, think beyond just an image. So what are those foundation models? Very simple. Those are going to be the base for the future and advancements in the artificial intelligence. And you see here the conventional AI, machine learning, you're hearing previously. So where you have labeled data by humans, and then you train those models, and then you are getting a model that will predict something. But with those large pre-trained models that they need hundreds of terabytes of data, hundreds of monthly hours, they are different because you get them and you consume them from one provider, and then you are trying to craft them and adopt them into the task that you need in the enterprise with your own data. Again, you are going back to the data. Yes, you need to use them in such way. There is no other way with the existing foundation models we have today. So if you look on the opportunities in the market, on the industries, we see those 6 patterns or trends. One is the conversational AI to support customer service and so on. Summarize of the documents in conversation, AI-powered intelligence, work automation, and information search and data retrieval. So those are one of the most encountered patterns we see in our clients. So I have here two use cases, one which is recently my business unit client worked at Credit Mutual that really adopted generative AI with one reason, to improve the customer success. And that was an effort not only from us as a technology partner, but as well from their side as an organizational culture to change that and change the approach they go and serve their customers. So very important, and you see here, 60% faster for client advisors. They have the right answer with the technology, and 50% of the 350 emails were received by the client advisor really addressed. So that is actually improving. Another client I have here, we're working, it's Vodafone, and as a partner in UK, and we have the digital assistant Toby with generative AI. And you may have heard about the Toby all over the place, right? But this is the first transformation we have done in UK with them. We took this assistant they have, and we added generative AI for retrieval augmented generation. And we have seen already some things like, retrieving information that you want, not going to various loops, so improving the experience the clients they have. Right, so what are the enterprise considerations when you really say, well, I want to adopt that, right? So what do you need to do? So within working with at least thousands of customers across the world, we are seeing those 5 pillars. We see the multi-models. There is no one model that will answer to your adoption and your technologies. There are multiple modalities, multiple models, different consumption models that will be very good for you. Someone asked me yesterday in Amsterdam, what is a token? Why the large language models, they have this token word, right? So things are changing as we speak. Then we have the multi-cloud, right? You need to consume this where is needed, not where is only provided. And think about the sovereignty. Then we have the governance. I've been in discussion here about the AI Act, right? So how you govern those things, how you govern the answer from those large language models, how you understand who has trained them, who's actually touched the data, from where the data has been collected, how those models, they behave over the time, what are the metrics on that. And IBM Research is actually doing this for the last couple of years in researching how the generative AI can influence. And there are different biases in there. I don't want to go there, but the governance piece is very important and very critical. Scale for the value, again, when you say, hey, here is AI, by the way, it costs a couple of millions, but you have a tiny use case. Can you buy it? Can you use it? The answer is no. There's no way someone can adopt that at the enterprise level. So you need to understand the use case, and that's why typically we are going around understanding the business use case and then actually build a solution for clients. And then we have the data. And yes, data still matters. Because if you use it for advertising, that's fine. But if you use it in the enterprise context, in your business context, either it's healthcare, either it's telecom, either it's banking, you need labeled data by humans. You still need data, not a lot, but you need in the range of 150,000 samples, 10,000 samples, depending on the approach and the technology you have. So that is still important, and still data is relevant, and it's the oil which is fueling the AI. We did as well a research last year. What are the challenges when you say why I don't adopt the AI? And you see here explainability, ethics, biases, trust. Those were concerns in adopting AI. And are beyond the technologies, in adoption of the technology within the company, within the culture of the company, in the way the company is behaving. And if you look on the data side, you see here 3 important things. 35% data accessibility changes. Where is the data from where I'm getting that data? Who is going to clean my data? What is the PII related information in that data? Do I have a process I can actually empower someone to clean the data and use it for AI. And if I'm using a service somewhere, what is that service hosted? What's going on there? There are many, many questions from that perspective. And then we have the data volume and complexity. We see, like I mentioned, multiple type of data. It's not just text. What we do with that? And then we have the data scope and the quality of the problems. And we see in engagement with clients that their data is actually wrong. Or the documents they have problems in the documents that the AI can actually pick and say, hey, here is a problem. Fix your documents in order before to provide answers to the clients, especially on the internal norms and procedures. So that is very challenging. So if you are an enterprise, what do you actually need to do today, right? So we need to understand the strategy and the value of AI. So that is clear thing. You need to align your strategy, the development capabilities, and obviously the metrics of measuring the success. Then the technology and the data, what kind of technology you're going to adopt, and at what kind of rate. What about the implication on the infrastructure side, on the software side, on the development side? All those things, they have to be measured, understood well, and defined on the 5 to 10 years roadmap. Experience design, I think I heard today human-centric, which is true. We need to understand how this technology is shaping the human experience, or human-to-human experience. And then operating model and talent and culture, they are going hand in hand. Because if you decide a specific operating model, you need to decide on the governance, on the related policies, on the role of the organization and the talent within your organization. So it's not, we have seen clients that they have took the technology, tested for a couple of months, and then say, sorry, we cannot take this because we are not ready with the operating model and with the culture. So that is a very important thing. And think about when you understand and you want to understand the implications within your organization. So what do we offer, right? We try to understand from all this perspective and say, well, for the hybrid part, whatever you want to run, either it's on-prem, any cloud, we need to have a layer that will always allow you to do that independently and openly. Then on the data side, we have, as well, we are bringing something called Data Fabric that will connect to all the data sources you have. You don't have to copy always the data, right, and work with that. That is something called IBM Data Discovery. And then on the AI data platform, we have multiple platforms we are bringing. One is for AI, one for the governance, one is for the data and foundation models. Within our strategy, and I think that should be the strategy of any serious company, there are 3 important topics. One is the platform, second are those foundation models, and the third, the integration with the existing world, with the existing capabilities that we see in the market. And therefore, I'm going to have more information on the foundation models. And then we have the ecosystem integration, and think about, integrating with SAP, integrating with other platforms which are out there and widely adopted. You need to have that integration within the existing ecosystem with what you have. And last but not least, we have things like code assistants, things that can orchestrate and can deal with the orders, right? For example, if you have been to KFC and ordered the things there on the panel and so on, that is an IBM system handling all these things for the team which is serving you there. Right, so if you look on the platform, you need to understand when you bring a platform, how the platform will be consumed, where, and who are the consumers, who are the personas. And in the foundation models, there is something called prompt engineering. And I know I've been told not to be too technical, but I think that is very important because you need to understand that the only way to interact with those foundation models are through the language, to the images or videos or sound. So that prompting is actually shaping the way the development was done in the past to something else right now. And then we have the fine-tuning and prompt tuning, how we shape those foundation models to answer to our own data and to work in the way we want them to work with confidence. So this is a very defined process in the way we actually take a software stack that has been created for demo or for test, and we want to take it into production. This is the same approach. And then training from the scratch those foundation models that only companies with large and massive data sources and large computing power, they can do that, they can afford that. Or, for example, governments. So one of the issues we see constantly is the fact that you need to be a PhD to empower someone to use these things. Well, the answer is no. We committed to bring a platform that will allow everyone to go and use from a simple interface all these things like prompt engineering, like prompt tuning, interact with those models, hate abuse and profanity detection within the models. So when you consume those models, you need to put all these things there. But at the same time, to empower the people to use them very simply in the same way you use, for example, a Word document to type something inside, or you use your preferred email application. And that's why we have those capabilities in the watsonx.ai. Foundation models. So when you use ChatGPT, you use by default something called GPT 3.5, which is a private model. But beyond that, right, there are multiple models out there, either coming from our partners like Meta, or some of them are open source by other organizations. And all of them, they have capabilities like to generate content, extract content, classify the content, and all these things, or coding. And based on those things, you navigate around them from 30 billions of parameters to, let's say, 407 billions of parameters, and understand what kind of models do you need. However, it's important to understand that you need to have trust to use a model like that for enterprise, to put your own data, right, your own financial reports, your business partners' informations within that, and work with them. And how you choose all these things. Right? So we are bringing a curated large language models, some of them open source, some of them from our partners on the platform, so you can decide what kind of models you can consume and what not. And IBM research for the last 3 years worked on something called IBM Granite, large language model, that is started to be trained initially on the 27 terabytes of data, and then we curate that data, we remove the duplication, the usable of the data, and so on. And this is something that we committed that we have the lineage. So we know exactly who touched the data, what that kind of data set, data file contains, and so on and so forth. And one of the things when you consume this model, if something happened, can you lawsuit someone for what happened? Yes or no? No, you cannot. Because you'll find that there are just 2-3 partners in the world that will give you indemnifications for the large language models, for those foundation models. And Granite is one of them where IBM will treat this foundation model as a software license with the same T's and C's. Another thing is how efficient those models are when you want to run them. If I'm coming to you and say, well, you need to have $500,000 to run a foundation model in the country, you'll think twice if that is really worth for you or not. And therefore, the power which is necessary to run them, the cooling problem, the money that you need to put for running for one particular request are very important for us. We are committed to bring efficient foundation models that can run on small devices, and obviously in small infrastructure which is needed. In addition, those models, they have to be performant, which means that they need to perform in various environments, especially in institutions like finance, like government, and so on and so forth, right? Because those are our clients, are the enterprise and governments. So we are committed on all these things, and we come with things around them. Now, we discussed about the governance, and you see here in this slide that we have the business alignment, organizational structure, ethics standards, and you say, well, I can take the AI Act and all the best practices in the country and improve, obviously, the education in the company around it. But then how I'm doing the automated AI governance, how I'm monitoring those automatically, those prompts my users or my application will send to a large language model and retrieve the results. How I'm going to empower the risk departments to really handle those things and say, well, there is a problem here. And here we brought the What's List Governance, which is a product for the last couple of years, and here's for generative AI that can really give you a full overview and a full dashboard of all the risks in the company which are happening. Last but not least, keep in mind that you need to connect whatever you have from the database perspective, data fabric perspective, consume your data into a platform if you want to do this and further integrate that with what you have. So it's not like you go and you make a query on an API somewhere and say, well, that's magic will happen. Yes, it will happen for you on a small application, but at enterprise level, those will not scale. In conclusion, change is hard because people are overestimating always the value of what they have, and then they're estimating the value of what they may gain to the change. And I think the biggest problem we see among of our clients we are touching is this fear of change and fear of unknown. But if this is well explained, I think you are on a success. And as IBM, we are always asked, why should we work with IBM? Why IBM? Well, beyond our history of 100 years of innovation and patents in this direction, we are bringing to the world a platform right now for openness, trusted, targeted specifically to various use cases you may want, and that will empower everyone to actually do AI, not just talk about it. So with that, I want to thank you very much, and I'm open for some questions if there are.
Here is a question.
Yeah. My voice or my... Hi. Thank you. For making this one working.
I think this, yeah.
Thank you for the presentation. But I think you can...
All right, I'll repeat the question, yes.
Yeah. So I wonder how IBM is thinking about leveraging the expertise it has in developing hardware solutions to embedding AI there, because maybe the future will be edge AI rather than
Correct.
centralized models.
Yeah, that's a good question. And I think I had it in our roadmap by 2027 about running them with efficiency 2026. And we're working on an accelerator called IOU, which is publicly available. You can search on IBM Research IOU, that will run a large language model in 75 watts footprint, compared with 1.2 kilowatts. Right? So I think that is something. But to develop these things, to understand, for example, if you go to 4-bit precision, 8-bit precision, or 2-bit precision, and all the context around the ecosystem I was presenting is taking a lot of time. So we delivered this year the first cluster to one of the American universities with this new adapter, which is highly efficient from power consumption, just to test it and get that feedback at scale. So it's coming. Thank you, good question. I think we have another question there. Can go. Yeah, it's in the middle there. The gentleman. Yeah.
Great presentation. But how you compare with OpenAI or Mistral or other players in this hot industry?
Right, so when you see all those large language models, all of them, they are on just the language and code, just two modalities there, right? Mistral, we actually, you can run them on our platform because they are open source models, and we have as well our quantized versions of Mistral that can run more efficient on our platform. So for some of those open source models, we recognize the value of them and we actually accelerate the runtime for them on our platform. That's the first thing. In terms of the large language model, one of the things I was mentioning is that IBM is trying to create those granite models, and we have other two models to come based on the data source, which is highly curated, and we have the whole process from the inception of the data set until we use them for the training, that we can stand behind and we can show all the things around that. And therefore, because we have that, we can say that our model is trusted in us. It doesn't contain biases, doesn't contain things that you may get out of a GitHub which is under a license which is not allowing you to use that code, for example, or things which are automatically being curated for hate abuse and profanity. And we have a couple of examples we are showing. And therefore, when we deliver the model, we have the identification from the legal perspective for our models.
I'm sorry to say, but I think people in Romania are not that concerned on profanity, for instance. And on the other hand, there is a certain impression that you guys are a little bit behind the AI opportunity wave.
Well, it depends how you see. If you look on that, on the fact that we created an app for the mass utilization, that was never the IBM intention to go on the retail business. And we exit from the retail business a long time ago, right? So we still have other things that we are bringing on the market. If you look on the governance perspective, I think there is no other company right now which is offering you, for example, all those things we are offering. But I want to go on the defense. I want to be more constructive from that perspective. We are working on the technologies that they're going to really impact. And we see, for example, one of the problem right now which is happening, and this is what we are doing with the project Cinderella with MIT, is the synthetic data. So how you create those data sets that you need to use, how you curate them. And even if you look on the performance of the large language models you see right now, there is a leaderboard where everyone is looking, right? And there are some benchmarks. They're pretty statical. And people that have started using large language models to evaluate other large language models. Well, comparing what we have seen, this is not the best approach. And we are more careful when we are bringing things to the world, and especially at the enterprise level, because we need to look at the enterprise utilization of a such solution. If we have a client that say, well, I'm not interested in the .governance, that's fine. We cannot push that to the customer, but we can educate them that they need to have a broader perspective on utilization of such technology.
One more, if I may. Forget for a second about profanity, and let's talk about the real themes of AI, like super alignment. What is IBM's contribution to the research on super alignment?
So I know to what you are referring on the super alignment. You are referring to the way those models are built in terms of LLMs, or super alignment in other direction like quantum.
I'm sorry, I cannot summarize such a thing, but if you check OpenAI's website, you'll find out what it is.
Okay, we're going to check that. Thank you very much. Any other questions?
I don't think so. So thank you very much for your presentation.
Thank you.
And everybody, what's wrong with it's a mute. Yeah, now, okay, now you can hear me. Everybody, we have coffee break now for 15